What's up? It's Alexander Madison, running back from the Minnesota Vikings, and you're watching Clock Management.
Hey guys, it's September 20th, 2019. I'm Justin, and as always, I'm joined by Perry.
Hello. Hey, Justin, I was thinking, if I could rearrange the alphabet, I'd put you and I together.
Dang it. I wish I had a sweet, caveat onto that to carry us into the rest of this, but I don't. So I'm just going to roll into it. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter. It's right at the top of the video. You can catch our podcasts on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and basically everywhere else. I did want to bring up that we also have a Facebook page and Instagram page that I never mention. So make sure you go check those out. And this is Clock Management. Getting ready for this these week 3 matchups now. Pretty exciting. It's our Friday episode. We're recording early, so I don't have any beer. I don't think you do, right?
No, it's too early.
Yeah,
too early for beer.
But later, I'm going to be drinking some beer sent to me by Crossed Arrows Brewery. You guys should go check them out. They're a local one here in Washington. Just started up. Pretty awesome beer.
Where can you find them?
They have a Facebook page. They also have a website, which is crossedarrowsbrewery.com. So pretty easy to find. Great beer, too. Great people, too. Good atmosphere over at their brewery.
We'll have to go check it out.
Yeah, for sure. I'll bring you some beer next time we meet up, too.
Oh, man. You had me at bringing you some beer.
You want to get us into some quick news?
I just want to remind everybody before we do that we are giving away a signed Tyreek Hill jersey.
Yes.
I know he isn't playing right now, but he's still relevant. And if you want a chance to win that, all you got to do is subscribe to us on YouTube.
So I remember, Perry, I was adamant on doing it at 300 subscribers. I'm on board with you now that may be too many, too quick a growth. I was eager. So I'm saying let's just do it at the end of, let's say, week 8.
Okay. Yeah.
Regardless of how many viewers or subscribers we have.
Unless we hit 300 before that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's up to you guys.
Tell your friends, guys. Yeah. Tell your friends. Just subscribe. Like I said it before, subscribe on your grandma's YouTube account. If your grandma doesn't have a YouTube account, it's very easy. You know how to do it. Just subscribe. All right. Today, we're going to get into just a few pieces of news, some breaking news that just came out, of course. And then we'll get into the matchups and talk about a few start-sits, a few players' starts of the week, that sort of thing. But let's start with the headline news today. And that is that Tevin Coleman is no longer in a walking boot.
You got me. I dropped my head in disappointment.
No, so Tevin Coleman shed the walking boot. Doesn't mean he's playing. I think you're still good with the other 2 running backs in San Francisco. If you have one of them, I would start him. I would start them until Tevin Coleman comes back, and we'll see how that plays out a little bit. But no, I'm messing with you guys. The big news is the news that just dropped about an hour ago, and that's that Antonio Brown has been released by the Patriots. Antonio Brown no longer has a team. In my opinion, this is 1 week too late. I mean, this should have happened last week. He should never been signed.
Yeah.
But I guess the allegations didn't officially come out until he was signed by the Patriots. But you know what I think really did it?
The text messages?
Well, I mean that. I feel like all that, of course.
No, did you see the recent one about the text messages?
No, I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. But I think what really the final, because I mean the Patriots, I feel like they give off this impression that, they don't care. They're going to follow, whatever. If they're allowed to play, you're going to play, sort of thing. But I think Bill Belichick was just done. I think he was done answering questions and talking about it.
Yeah.
I think he's finally like, this isn't worth it. This is not worth it. But
Well,
yeah,
I think those text messages going to because they forward those to the NFL headquarters, and I feel like there's actually going to be repercussions from that for once.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so
Oh
I,
yeah.
I think they're just getting ahead of the ball on this.
Antonio Brown will not play another game this year. That's how I feel about this.
Maybe ever.
Maybe ever, but from what we know right now, Antonio Brown, in my opinion, will not play again this year. I don't even think he'll be on a team.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time there was a player with this much off-field issues.
Dude, people are trying to compare him to like Terrell Owens. The thing with Terrell Owens was all his drama was like on the field, just kind of him being eccentric.
Yeah,
drama, right?
It wasn't criminal activity.
Right. It wasn't. I don't think he ever hurt his team. Now, until I guess that's not fair because I feel like he destroyed a few teams and then just left. But I don't think it was ever like he wasn't there, right? He was skipping practices and skipping team meetings and threatening to retire and then having rape allegations and more rape allegations
and sending threatening text messages.
It's I don't know. I think I think we've already said this, and I know a lot of other people have said it, but what this really shows to me is the Steelers are smarter than they appear, and Mike Tomlin is much better at managing people than it appeared on the surface.
Yeah, from the outside.
My opinion right now, I own Antonio Brown in our main league. I'm holding him until I hear some more news. Not because I selfishly want to own him, but because I don't want to drop a guy that could end up playing. And considering this is the NFL, anything can happen. Roger Goodell has no idea how to punish people.
Yeah, so. Waivers already went through this week, so the waiver wire's doesn't have a lot in there, a lot of meat in there. So you might as well hold on to him through this week to see what happens.
If you're in a dynasty, though, trade him, in my opinion. And if you don't own him and somebody offers you him for dirt cheap, sure, go grab him, stash him in your dynasty league. But there is a very good chance he doesn't play this year, and there is a fair chance he never plays again. So,
yeah, it's rough. All right, let's move on from Antonio Brown. Well, as much as we can.
We'll talk about Cam Newton next. He's officially ruled out for Sunday's game. Not much of a surprise to me. I think it probably could have happened last week. I think this is good for Cam Newton. It's going to give him some time to heal. There's something wrong with Cam Newton, and it's hurting the whole team. And
he's not ready. He's not the same player he's been the rest of his career.
No, and I don't think you need to hold on to him or anything like that, unless you're in a very deep quarterback league. Okay, then go for it. You and I are in a league like that where the quarterbacks that are available aren't playing. So, in that kind of league, sure, hold on to Cam Newton. But if you're in a 10-team redraft
ours
league,
is a 14-person 2-quarterback league. Like that's rough.
Yeah. So you need 2 starting quarterbacks, obviously, and you can't drop somebody like Cam Newton in a league like that. But if you're in a 10-team redraft, just drop him. Go pick up somebody else. It'll be fine. As for the remaining Panthers players, we'll talk about them a little bit later when we're talking about the matchups. But doesn't hurt Christian McCaffrey all that much, in my opinion. But we'll get into that in a little bit. More big news is Damian Williams, running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, has been ruled out for week 3. This is kind of what we were talking about. I don't know if you remember, Justin, but this is why I was down on him going into the season, is there was no proof that he could handle a full workload.
Yeah.
Here we are, week 3, and he's already missing time, and there's nobody in this world that could argue with me to say that he's even gotten a full workload. So, he's on a timeshare right now, and he's already missing time. So, I'm not high on Damian Williams even when he comes back. I don't know how you feel about it.
No, I'd be willing to trade him away because at this point I'm worried that he's going to start losing more touches to Darwin Thompson. So much losing touches to McCoy because I think McCoy's already he's going to get his set amount of touches. So
Yeah, he's already lost those touches to McCoy,
Yeah.
and McCoy's had a very effective touches when he does get the ball, and I think the Chiefs are happy to have that. And I totally agree with you. Darwin Thompson is a must own.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you need to own Darwin Thompson. If he's available, your league mates failed, and you just got to steal. So go pick up Darwin Thompson. Let's see. Another thing I wanted to talk about was Marcus Mariota. I know that I've put in some time in saying that I'm not completely given up on him yet. But that Thursday night game last night.
Now, I have multiple times on the show talked about how I don't think he's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, I thought Brissett's a better quarterback than him before Brissett was even their starting quarterback.
Yeah. In his defense, this is the third offensive system that he's been in 3 years. So I think he was set up for failure.
Yeah.
But
it's
there
still
are
failure.
Yeah, and there are guys that I'm sure you could have put in the same situation that would have done just fine.
No, and
so
my thing is, like, I hear people say that about different players a lot of times when they go through situations like that. And like, yeah, I get it. There's reasons why you failed. There's reasons why every player failed. But as a fantasy like player, I don't care what the reason is. If you're failing, and I don't want you on my team.
rough, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't want him. I have no reason to. I mean, other than that league that you and I talked about, right? Obviously, he needs to be started in that kind of league. But I agree. I don't want any of their receivers really. I just don't.
I know. I was hoping for AJ Brown to break
Yeah.
out after that first week and like establish himself as the number one wide receiver. I'm okay with admitting that I was wrong on that now, and I'm moving
Yeah.
on from AJ Brown. I don't want to,
Yeah.
like you said, I don't want a receiver there.
Yeah. The reason I bring it up is because Mike Vrabel has come out and said that they are not currently looking to make a quarterback change right now. Those were his words. And I think the fact that that conversation is even happening and that question's already being asked is not good news for Marcus Mariota. Whether the reasons, like Justin said, it's a win now league. There's the whole like rebuilding thing works in other professional sports. You know, a basketball team can be bad for 3 years, and that's fine because a player's career is so much longer. In the NFL, it's what have you done for me lately, or what are you doing for me right now?
Derrick Henry could be gone in 3 years.
Derrick Henry could be gone in 3 years, definitely. Derrick Henry could. I mean, they could be trading somebody like Derrick Henry away for draft picks. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility, especially if this doesn't work out for Marcus Mariota. So, the Titans. I mean, I want their defense in fantasy, but I don't think I mean, Derrick Henry, keep plugging him in there.
Delaney Walker's an okay middle of the pack tight end.
Sure.
I'm
if
not
you
looking
waited
for him though.
if you waited till late in like a 12-team league, Delaney Walker's a great start, right? You got something there. But yeah, moving on from the Titans receivers overall. Okay, and then Devin Singletary, big one here. The last one I really wanted to talk about, running back for the Bills. He's ruled out for week 3. It's unfortunate, man. You and I are both really high on Devin Singletary. I'm still high on him for the year, but I mean, we mentioned it last week with this little hamstring non-contact thing.
Yep.
Non-contact is not something you ever want to hear when it comes to an injury. That means there's probably something bigger wrong there that's causing this to happen. And then with the hamstring, we mentioned how, you know, there is a correlation between hamstring strains or tightness or whatever you want to call it and ACL tears.
And those hamstring injuries always seem to be nagging. They'll keep players out for, you know, they'll be back a week and then they'll be gone another week.
Yeah. I don't think I'm, you know, dropping Devin Singletary right now. I'm actually not trading him because you're getting such a low value out of him. But I mean, it's something to monitor. If you have him on your team, make sure that you have running back depth around him.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
As part of that, though, Frank Gore, he emerges from the ashes that is death of fantasy into a phoenix and rises again.
If you asked him, he'd be like, I never fell. I can't rise. I can't rise if I don't fall. He's like, I'm always here. I'm just doing the same thing every
Yep.
day.
Just tell me when to go in, coach.
Oh man, never dies.
Yeah.
Frank Gore.
And now, once again, my nemesis returns too.
Who's that?
TJ Yeldon.
I just wanted you to say his name.
God, he's going to take some of these pass catching downs away from Frank Gore.
You really want Frank Gore out there catching passes, though?
Oh, I do, yeah. I mean, the team probably shouldn't want that, but I want to see it.
All right. Well, that's all the news I had. Obviously, I expect a few more things to maybe break this afternoon, but let's jump into the news nobody cares about.
Yeah. So we got some news no one cares about here. I'm gonna go through it a little bit quick because I got quite a bit of it. So, first of all, what kind of news day would it be without Antonio Brown? Antonio.
A good day.
Yeah, maybe in the future. We'll see. Antonio Brown's being sued by his former doctor in Pittsburgh for $11,000 for farting in his face.
I heard about this before the season started.
Yeah.
This was a story.
Yeah.
There was a doctor associated with the team, correct?
He was loosely associated with the team, but Antonio Brown told him he was going to hire him to be like on salary for him to be his overall wellness doctor. And then he never paid him any money. And there's a video of him just continuously farting every time the doctor leans in to check him.
It's messed up.
Right.
That guy's a man-child.
Yeah. So there's that.
Antonio Brown, your mom is ashamed of you.
See, there's players you hate too, Perry.
I feel like there's a lot of reasons to hate Antonio Brown and not so many reasons to hate TJ Yeldon. All right, let's pump the brakes on that little topic.
All I'm saying, TJ Yeldon, much worse person than Antonio Brown. That's
wow. Wow.
Okay, so Tom Brady says
I'm upset. I can't let that one go. Jeez. You're an animal.
Tom Brady says he's fed up with the refs last night during the football game, and then this morning says he's pro refs. Kind of confused by the two statements.
I think that's Tom Brady's people being like, you can't make statements like that.
Yeah, I agree. They asked him for clarification, and he said he doesn't want to talk about the refs, just the Jets.
Yeah. That sounds like he's parroting his coach a little bit.
Yep.
So
he probably got a phone call after that tweet.
Yeah. I don't take anything the Patriots say seriously.
No.
So.
Oh, this breaking. You remember I told you about the fire that happened during I think it's Titan-Colts game? So the NFL's banning pyrotechnics after that.
Darn it.
Yeah, because of that.
Man, well, I'm not going to any NFL games this year.
Right?
I don't get to see fire.
If there's not something catching on fire unintentionally, I'm not there.
Yeah, that's my motto.
And then this kind of lastly, but it's a grouping here. We got some Gardner Minshew facts here.
Ooh, love these.
So Gardner Minshew worked out in nothing
it's Gardner.
Oh,
Gardner.
Sorry, I like Garden.
Not Garden.
I like Garden.
Secret Garden.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and oh man, about his name. Well, I'll get to that. Gardner Minshew worked out in nothing but aviators and his jock strap in college. During camp at Washington State University, he did a naked cannonball.
Wait, like into a pool or out of a cannon?
I couldn't find any clarification.
No video evidence?
No.
None you could pull up on a work computer, at least.
His Gardner Minshew's grandfather wanted to name him Beowulf.
Beowulf?
Yeah.
Dude.
Right.
That's an auto start.
Right.
In fantasy,
So
if my quarterback's named Beowulf Minshew, I'm
yeah,
starting him 100% of the time.
right. So screw Gardner. I'm not calling him that anymore. He is now Beowulf.
Beowulf. All right.
Uh,
Grandpa had it, man.
right. Week, I believe it's week 2 when he came in. He had a passing accuracy of 69.69%. I saw a couple of those passes. He could have completed those, and he purposely missed those to keep that percent. I'm positive of it.
Yeah, we'll let the listeners unpack that one.
When he left college, or when he left for college, he told his dad, "You're now the man of the house."
I love this kid.
Right, and that's all my my facts so far. I'm
Ooh.
sure we'll have more going forward with Beowulf.
Yeah. I want a Gardner or a Beowulf Minshew fact of the week going forward.
I'll do that for sure. I'm gonna have to.
All right. You ready to get into these week 3 games?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Let's start with the game last night, first game of the week. Just a quick overview of it. We'll start with the Titans, right? We already talked about Marcus Mariota. When you look at the stat line, 23 for 40, 340 yards. You know, he threw for 300 yards, no interceptions. You think, okay, that's not too bad. It just doesn't look good, and he doesn't make the people around him better. And when you have a starting NFL quarterback, you hope to make the people around you better, bring up the mediocrity, and he doesn't. He doesn't do it. That's how I feel about it. At least it's just like it just feels like a big stagnant like swamp.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not liking it.
Yeah, Derrick Henry, 17 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown. It's a rough night, man. I will say that Jacksonville's defense looked much, much better last night, which is probably part of the reason why those numbers are so poor. But I don't know. Would have liked better. The touchdown saved us night. I mean, a 17 rushes for 44-yard line is not ideal out of Derrick Henry. But and then we already talked about the wide receivers. Adam Humphries being the number one target of the night. I can't interpret. I mean, AJ Brown one reception for 4 yards, right? And he was the guy 2 weeks ago. And Corey Davis is still Corey Davis. And Delaney Walker, like Justin said, is the only one you should really care about here. I'm not starting a wide receiver. I'm not owning a wide receiver on Tennessee.
No, yeah, tight end and running backs acceptable, and that's about it.
Right. The Jaguars side of the ball, Beowulf Minshew looked good again, man. 204 yards and 2 touchdowns. No interceptions, 20 for 30, very efficient. He's spot start. I'd do it. I mean, this Tennessee Titans defense is very, very good.
I'm fine with it, yeah.
Yeah. The fact that he puts up, decent numbers, doesn't turn the ball over against, could be top 3 defense in the league.
Yeah, and his name's Beowulf, so you got to.
Yeah. Yeah, and if he goes out and plays a poor defense, I'd start Gardner Minshew, depending on what my other options were. Rushing the ball, Leonard Fournette was the only running back to touch the ball for the Jaguars, which is kind of what we expect. Very, very inefficient night. If you didn't watch the game, he had like negative 6 yards going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and then busted a 69-yard run.
And got tackled.
And then got tackled. He was fast, man, but he was trying to. I mean, he had 3 corners chasing him down. Like, you didn't pick up Leonard Fournette, or they didn't draft Leonard Fournette for his speed, but kind of saved his night. I mean, he did have 6 receptions for 26 yards. So if you're in a PPR league, you were doing just fine. You and I were talking earlier today about Leonard Fournette, and while superiorly inefficient, he was playing a very good defense last night, like I just mentioned. And just the amount of work, the fact that not a single other running back touched the ball last night, that's why you're owning Leonard Fournette. So I'm still starting him. How do you feel about Leonard Fournette?
Yeah, I was saying the fact that he's the only, the only show there, and you can't not start him. He's getting 100% of the carries.
There's not a lot of backfields where
Yeah.
you can say that.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room for anyone else. According to my calculation, that's almost all of the carries.
two or three backfields. I mean, the Jets, the Jaguars, maybe the Titans now with Derrick Henry, although Deion Lewis is there, or James White. James White's there. Or is it Deion Lewis? I can never keep those two right. Deion Lewis is the Titans.
Yeah.
Okay. The wide receivers, DJ Chark,
yeah.
4 for 76 and a touchdown. He's kind of the guy of the night. I know I mentioned possibly starting him this week. You weren't so high on it.
Man, as soon as I get this sound or audio drop thing figured out, I am definitely putting the Baby Shark thing there for him.
I hate that song.
Baby Shark.
Oh, God. Okay, moving on here. Let's get into the games that haven't been played yet.
Yeah.
We're going to start with the premier game of the week. That's the Cowboys at the Dolphins. Justin, I think we're just starting Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Start all the Cowboys. Start their water boy. Start their GM. Start the guy that drives their bus to get them to the field that day. On the Dolphins side of the ball,
their kicker.
Start the Cowboys kicker, not the Dolphins kicker.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're
whoa.
On Miami
Cowboys
side of the ball, there isn't one. So
right. If you have a Miami player on your team, I'd probably just leave him on the bench and have it as an open spot because there is a chance that they get negative points.
Yeah. If your league somehow has punters in it, you should start their punter.
Ooh, yeah, there you go. I like that. If he has a chance, there might just be turnovers. Anyways, long story short, start your Cowboys. If you can stream the Cowboys defense this week, do it. The Patriots scored 37 fantasy points against the Dolphins last week, their defense. So let's move on to the Bills Bengals. This should be a closer game, I think. Bengals side of the ball. Who are you starting on the Bengals? Who do you like?
On the Bengals side, it depends on your league. Andy Dalton isn't a bad choice. Then Tyler Boyd, obviously, I feel like he's a must start at this point, just because there's no competition really there for him.
What about John Ross?
I mean, John Ross is there, but John Ross is filling a different role. Yeah, so John Ross, he's more of that big play back or big play receiver. He's going to have fewer catches for the long haul. I'm
still starting him. I mean, obviously, like if you have better options, you don't. But
yeah,
he's startable.
Yeah, I could see having him in a flex spot depending on who else you have. But that's I'm not opposed to it. Like he's been doing pretty well. He's getting targeted, and I think you're okay starting him in that flex spot depending on your other options, obviously, up until AJ Green comes back.
Yeah, that'll be the real story. And AJ Green still isn't practicing, so you're not at risk of that this week or probably even next week. So
they said he was in practice running routes, but with a heavy limp.
Oh, I read today he sat out practice today.
No, yeah, so he's not a participant in the practice.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Running backs for the Bengals, I'm still not touching it. Not touching the backfield. Even Joe Mixon.
Yeah,
not interested.
I agree with you. Which it's sad.
Yeah. The Bills side of the ball, we kind of already talked about the running backs. I think Frank Gore, right? He's a great start this week.
Yeah, that's my start of the week, Frank Gore. I think he's someone you could get off the waiver wires, and just if you need running back this week, he's a great start. He's going to get tons of volume.
Sure. Yeah, if you had Damian Williams and you can't, I mean, LaShawn McCoy's already owned, go start Frank Gore. Those two old guys are going to run the league forever, man. Wide receivers, John Brown. I think John Brown's for real.
I think that he's a must start this week.
Yeah, I agree. Start your John Browns. Start your Josh Allens. That's totally fine with me as well. Josh Allen probably get another rushing touchdown this week. It seems to do it every single week. So
Yeah, and another thing is the Bengals' run defense has been really bad.
yeah,
So
So I like Frank Gore this week. I do. Let's move on here to the Lions and the Eagles. We already talked about Kerryon Johnson. We talked about him in the last episode. With CJ Anderson gone, I like Kerryon a lot here. Basically, I've been doing a little bit more reading on this situation. There essentially isn't a running back there that's going to take that goal line work now. There's nobody there that's that big, huge bowling ball of a man to bounce off the lineman. Now it's Kerryon. Kerryon is the guy. So start Kerryon Johnson. Definitely. Don't be afraid to do it. Matthew Stafford, if you have to. I think there are better options, especially in like a 10-12 team league. Which of the wide receivers do you like in Detroit?
I don't know. I don't know if there's any I want to start. Is
Galladay?
I would rather have John Brown or someone like that, or even I think I might even start Ross over him.
Yeah, I think I agree with both of those players. And then, I feel like Marvin Jones should be better than Kenny Galladay. I don't know, but
another
it's just
one.
not happening.
Also, you got T.J. Hawkinson there at tight end. I don't know if I trust him.
I know, not after the donut he threw up last week.
Yeah, so I'm not. I'll tell you guys, don't start Hawkinson if you have another option. I know tight end's a fickle area to
mistress.
Yeah. So you might be stuck starting him. That's fine, but I don't see it going well.
Let's jump over to the Philadelphia side here. I like a lot of the Philadelphia players that are actually playing, right? With Alshon out, with Deshaun Jackson out, I really like Nelson Aguilar this week.
Yeah. Also, they're saying Alshon. Last word I saw said Alshon is probable to play now.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. That was as of about an hour ago.
Okay. If you have Alshon on your team, 12-team league, are you starting Alshon Jeffrey this week?
No. Just because he's just coming back from that injury, I don't know how much he's utilized and how much he plays. I think him playing hurts Aguilar's value. I'm still okay with starting Aguilar, though.
Okay. Do you start John Ross over Alshon?
Yeah.
You start Kenny Galladay over Alshon.
See, I have them pretty close together. I think I'm going with Galladay just because he's healthy.
Yeah, I think in an ideal situation, I don't have to make that choice.
Yeah. The problem with them is Galladay. I feel like I'm not huge on him, but I know he's playing the full game. Alshon Jeffrey, there's a chance that after the first hit, he doesn't come back to the field.
Yeah, I agree. The running backs, Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, starting.
I'm okay with Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I am as well. I think they have a talent in Miles Sanders. So.
Yeah.
And obviously
just as we said weeks ago, he's slowly taking over that backfield.
Yeah, he is. And I think he's far more talented than Jordan Howard. Okay, let's move on here. Jets, Patriots. We'll try and speed things up. We're going slow. You and I are so bad at going
I know,
through this quickly.
Right? All right, so Jets, everyone knows you're starting Le'Veon. Patriots, obviously you're not starting Antonio Brown. Start the rest of your Patriots.
Yeah, with Antonio Brown out, I really like the other Patriots wide receivers. I really like Josh Gordon this week a lot. And then, are you starting Robbie Anderson at all on the Jets?
I'm not.
Yeah, I agree.
I know a lot of people are big on him. I'm not sold.
Yeah, I also really like the Patriots defense this week. The Jets are on to their third quarterback, so if you have them, play them. If they're available, grab them. Falcons, Colts. I think this should be a pretty good game.
Yeah.
On the Falcons side of the ball, I like all their obvious starters except their running backs.
Yeah, I
Still
think
don't know what the heck's going on back there.
exactly. I don't want to start Devonta Freeman. I'm putting him on my bench if I have better options, which I
Yeah.
believe I do. And I believe
Yeah,
most
I
of you
agree.
would. And I see him like if he doesn't perform up to par here, I don't think I'm comfortable starting him again. Like if he's not putting up double digit numbers, I'm not gonna be putting him in for until he can prove he can do that.
Yeah. I like both of the wide receivers on the Falcons. Just start them both. Both cool with me on a start. The Colts side of the ball, Marlon Mack, definitely start him. T.Y. Hilton, definitely start him.
Yep.
Start your Colts. In
Yeah.
fact, I'm okay
Don't start
with
your
all
Colt
Colts.
tight ends.
Thank you. Yep, that's the one that you got to avoid. Raiders Vikings. This is a big game for the Raiders, right? The Raiders start 2-0. They look like a good team, but they haven't played a very good team. The Vikings should be a pretty good team, maybe not a Super Bowl contender like they thought they might be, but this should be a pretty tight game here. Are you starting your Raiders other than Josh Jacobs, who is healthy and is playing?
Yes.
I know you're obviously starting him.
Darren Waller.
Starting Darren Waller. Okay.
Yes. The wide receivers, I'm not starting any of their wide receivers just due to the Vikings defensive backs. They have really good defensive backs. They're good at shutting down big plays, which is what the Raiders are going to need. So I think this will be great I think Josh Jacobs will do fine. And yeah, I'm not starting any wide receivers.
And that fact alone is why I like Darren Waller a lot.
Yeah.
It's because they're going to have to look to cut under those DBs, and that's Darren Waller cutting across the middle. So I like him a lot. The Vikings side of the ball, I mean, if you have Kirk Cousins, I think you have better options. We just haven't seen it yet this year.
Go get a quarterback off the waiver wire. This is exactly why we don't draft quarterbacks. You can stream them week to week, find a good matchup.
Yeah, you're starting Dalvin Cook 100%. He looks like the best running back in the league right now. And then the wide receivers, you have to pick one. Who's it going to be?
From the Vikings?
Yeah.
I think I'm going Thielen.
Me too. Yeah, I'm going Thielen. Diggs just hasn't done it either. Diggs is right along with Kirk Cousins on that underperforming train. So
yeah.
Let's move on here to I think both our game of the week, and that's the Ravens and the Chiefs. This should be a real good one. I really hope this is a very good one.
Start them.
Yeah. So start
all of them.
All of them. My start of the week is LaShawn McCoy. Obviously, when it comes to start of the week, I could pick somebody like Alvin Kamara, or I could pick somebody like Lev Bell. These obvious starts. The start of the week, it's supposed to be, hey, this guy's kind of a question. But this week, I don't think you need to question it. Start LaShawn McCoy. Darwin Thompson will eventually start to fill in that role, but this week LaShawn McCoy is going to get work, and it should be good. I'm excited for that game. Let's move on.
I'm okay with starting all of the Chiefs, like Demarcus Robinson and Mecole Hardman.
I am as well. Well, all three: Sammy, Demarcus, and Mecole.
Yeah.
I'd have to be in a fairly deep league to start all three.
I mean,
but I also wouldn't.
I'm
be
not
surprised.
starting all three on one team. Like if I own one team, yeah. But I'm saying I'm okay with starting any one of those three.
I think two of them will have great games. The other one will have an okay game. But picking which two it'll be is impossible.
You got a 66% chance. Throw them in there.
Yeah. Ravens side of the ball, start
Marquise
Hollywood Brown, start Mark Andrews, start Mark Ingram, start Lamar Jackson. Start them all.
You keep doing that.
Yeah, whatever.
I did a while ago too.
Okay, cool. That'll be a good game. Moving on here to the Broncos and the Packers. Probably going to be a closer game than people think, but I think the Packers win again. I think that's going to be the MO for the Broncos all season. I'll start Emmanuel Sanders. I'm not starting a Denver running back yet. No. Just I don't know which one it's going to be.
And the Packers defense actually has been doing really good against the run specifically. So
yeah. I think if I'm in a deep league, 14-team league, something like that, sure, I'll start one of the Broncos running backs because I probably have to. But I'm going to try and avoid it. I'm going to make efforts to not have to do it. But Emmanuel Sanders
if you're
is
starting one of them, which one?
Phillip Lindsay.
Man.
It's really hard, man.
Yeah, I think I go with Royce.
It's just like it's not just like the Chiefs wide receivers, right? But I feel like it's the same situation as like,
yeah, it could be either one. Yeah,
it could, right? Like, who's gonna be the pass catching back this week? That's what it really matters.
absolutely.
On the Packers side of the ball, Devontae Adams. I mean, don't worry about Devontae Adams. He's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Right, Justin?
Yeah. So there's something I want to talk about with that because like he hasn't been putting up the numbers that you want to see from him. But just to give you guys some like perspective on this, last year at week 2, Tariq Cohen was the running back 51. He finished as the running back 11. Chris Carson was the running back 45, finished as the running back 15. Nelson Aguilar was the wide receiver 20, finished as the wide receiver 51. Jesse James was the tight end number 2 at week 2, finished as tight end 32. Like, we're only at week 2. Don't overreact to this stuff. It's a long season. He's gonna be fine. That's my point.
Yeah, fantasy football isn't about reflex. It's about following trends and making the right decisions based on trends. And Devontae Adams will be just fine. Definitely start him. Are you starting either of the other 2 wide receivers there?
I'm not, because like you said, it's about trends, and they have not established a trend.
No, they have not. Still starting Aaron Rodgers, though I expect another bad week from him against Denver. The Denver defense is good. So, I'm sorry you drafted Aaron Rodgers, but I tried to warn you. Let's move on to the Cardinals and the Panthers. It's unfortunate that Cam Newton's not playing. That means that the Panthers wide receivers, in my opinion, you have to expect them to take a dip here in production. I think if you're all in right now on DJ Moore, you probably could start him, but I would take a look at your waiver wire, see if you can find something a little bit better.
The only pass catching back I'm in on is pass catcher I'm in on is Greg Olsen.
Yeah, I think so. The history with Greg Olsen, Cam Newton is very good, but I think they kind of have a special connection there.
I agree.
Somebody has to catch the ball.
Yeah, you see a lot of younger quarterbacks tend to check down to their tight end and running backs.
Which is why we love Christian McCaffrey this week.
Absolutely.
I think you cannot not start Christian McCaffrey, so just don't even worry about it. Just put him in.
And then this one where we kind of differ on with the wide receivers on the Cardinals side.
Right. I think it's been noted. I don't know. You and I have a lot of conversations about football. Some of them in the podcast, some of them in real life.
I know it's hard to remember which ones are which.
Yeah, I still like Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I don't dislike him. And unlike TJ Yeldon, he is the best human being in the NFL.
He is. That's not a joke. He is the best human being.
I mean, the TJ Yeldon part's a joke, but the Larry Fitzgerald part is not. He's just an awesome person. So I love seeing him stay around so long in the NFL and continue to perform at such a high level.
Yeah. You and I were talking right before we started recording here. Christian Kirk is the guy that you're taking between the 2.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're crazy, right? I don't think anybody's crazy for picking Christian Kirk. I think the pendulum is starting to swing back or away from Larry Fitzgerald, and they're going to start throwing it to Christian Kirk more, right? He's the future. But Larry Fitzgerald's done it 2 games in a row. Larry Fitzgerald has done it his whole career. So I'm starting Larry Fitzgerald. Justin's starting Christian Kirk. This could be the week that it happens. It could be next week. So they both need to be owned.
I strongly believe it'll be this season.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. I strongly believe that Larry Fitzgerald will not be playing next season. But let's move on to the Giants and the Bucks. The Giants starting a new era here. Eli Manning, not their starter.
Yeah, exit stage left.
You excited about this?
Yeah, I actually am. I feel like this because Eli Manning, we knew exactly what we were getting with that offense with Eli Manning, and it wasn't good. Like that known quantity wasn't good. So having an unknown quantity there is better than having a bad known quantity. So I want to see what he does. If he might be able to, even if I'm not saying the Giants are going to become a good team, because that's not going to happen, but he may establish more fantasy relevance and that's what we care about. So, pay attention to who he's targeting in the game. I'm not starting any of their wide receivers. Obviously, you're starting Saquon and Eric Ebron, but just pay attention to who he's targeting. Evan Ingram. Sorry.
Yeah. And that's Daniel Jones for anybody who's wondering.
Absolutely.
A lot of people in the industry, Justin, are having this debate real quick, so let's do it. Is Eli Manning a Hall of Fame quarterback? Will he be in the Hall of Fame?
Now, so yes, he will.
Should Eli Manning be in the Hall of Fame?
No, he shouldn't.
The easy answer is yes, he will be.
Yeah. Yes, he will be in the Hall of Fame. No, he should not be in the Hall of Fame. He has never been an elite quarterback. He's never been that amazing. The years they won Super Bowls, they had elite defenses, which carried him to Super Bowls.
He is a 2-time Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, which the quarterback almost always is in the Super Bowl. It's almost a given. Someone else has to do something amazing to take that from the quarterback. As soon as the game starts in the Super Bowl, the quarterback is the MVP until someone else takes it from him, instead of it just being up for grabs.
I will say, I think if you look at his numbers and don't say his name, I think he's borderline, right? He's like that kind of guy, like definitely not first ballot, could take a few years, might sneak in if you didn't know his name.
Yeah, and my problem is there's too many. I think there's too many quarterbacks that fall into those same stat lines that will not make it. Yeah,
I think when it comes to the Hall of Fame, there is this thing that it's like this intangible, unmeasurable, like he's great kind of thing that you get with any kind of player, and I think it's important to have that.
Absolutely.
And it weighs in on the voting. So if I had a vote, Eli Manning to me does not have that, and I would not vote him in. But the statistics that he has carried through his whole career, I mean, it teeters. So it's interesting. He will make the Hall of Fame, though. He'll be in the Hall of Fame, and whether or not he should be or deserves it, that's another debate. Okay. Thank you for that. Moving on to the Bucs here. Are you starting Jameis Winston going forward at all? Unless super deep 2-quarterback league.
No.
Yeah, I agree. Jameis Winston's bad at football. Are you starting which running back?
Oh, I got I'm sorry, Perry. I'm gonna take us back a little bit here.
Oh, sorry.
Do you think Bob Greasy should be in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Yeah, because he also has 2 Super Bowl wins.
I said Super Bowl MVPs.
Yeah, I know, but my point is like that's what people go to. I think Super Bowl victories is irrelevant for that to look at for that. Like,
you're one of the few.
I know, and that's why he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you look at the career stats, he teeters on that. Like you take the name out of it and you just say, here's X player, here's how many games he played in a row, here's his yardage, here's his touchdowns, here's his interceptions, and he won 2 Super Bowls, right? People might be like, ooh, yeah, he was probably pretty good. Who was that, right? And then you say Eli Manning, and people are like, wait, he sucks.
Yeah, and so I agree with you. It goes back to that, like, does he have that intangible? Because you got people like Brett Favre who've thrown for massive amount of yards and touchdowns, and even more massive amounts of interceptions. But he has that intangible. He's a Hall of Famer. So yeah, you're right.
But if I had a vote, I wouldn't vote for him.
And I completely agree. Sorry. So let's get back into some fantasy. Jameis Winston. No, don't start him.
No. Which Bucs running back are you starting?
I'm not.
Wrong. Gun to your head. Which one are you starting? For the listeners.
Oh, hit my mic. That's probably loud.
And dropped an F-bomb.
It's been so long since I did that.
Ooh, sorry, Sean.
No, it's me today.
Ooh, well, all right. Well, sorry. Quack you.
Barber, I guess.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
I'm glad I asked the question.
Yeah, I was like, why'd you put me here? I don't want either of them. Can I drop them and pick someone else up?
No, but we'll move on to the next question, which is name the number one wide receiver on the Bucks this week.
Oh. Man, I don't think I know I was saying earlier about the week 2, don't overreact, blah blah blah. I still agree with all of that. That being said, I don't think Mike Evans is going to be the number 1 wide receiver here.
I don't either, do I?
Yeah,
I think it's Godwin.
Yeah, I think that transition has happened, which, I mean, we had talked about this before the season start, that it very well could. Mike Evans still a great wide receiver, but yeah, I'm going with Godwin.
I like Godwin a lot. Okay, let's move on here. We got 5 more games. Let's break these out real quick.
Yeah,
Saints, Seahawks. Drew Brees is out. Okay.
Start Alvin Kamara.
Start Alvin Kamara. It's noted Teddy Bridgewater and what's his name?
What?
Who's their other?
Taysom.
The one, Taysom Hill. They're going to both be playing quarterback.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's going to be a little bit more of a split than what they had with the Drew Brees, Taysom Hill stuff. So that's weird. I don't want either of them.
Yeah.
At all.
No.
And then wide receivers, start your Michael Thomas. I'm not starting any other wide receiver there.
Yeah, and I'm not happy with starting him either, but I'm starting him.
On the Seahawks side of the ball, start Russell Wilson. He looks good. Start Chris Carson. Looks real good.
DK Metcalf.
Start DK Metcalf. I agree. I like DK Metcalf a lot. Are you starting Tyler Lockett?
No.
Are you starting Tyler Lockett over Tyler Boyd?
Absolutely not.
Mike Evans.
No.
Tyler Lockett. You'd start Mike Evans over Tyler Lockett?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I would as well. I don't like Tyler Lockett.
No,
he's going to throw another touchdown this week because I said this.
He's going to have 1 catch for 89 yards and a touchdown. Or he's going to have 1 catch for 10 yards and that's it.
Yeah, I don't like Tyler Lockett, and he's going to have a fantastic week because I said all this. So, okay, let's move on. Texans Chargers. This should be a pretty close game. I'm starting all my obvious starters here. Is there anybody you're shying away from?
No.
I'm avoiding the number 2, number 3 wide receiver for the Texans. I don't want to start Will Fuller.
Oh,
I don't want to start QQQT.
Shoot, what's the? I'm just can't remember his name right now. The running back for the Chargers.
Oh, for the Chargers?
Eckler.
Eckler.
So Eckler, this is going to be great for him. Start him. I mean, I feel like it's obvious at this point, but this defense has not been good against the run, and he's been doing amazing. Like, his stats are out of this world. Just ride that wave while it lasts.
Yeah, like Austin Eckler a lot. If you have to start, if you have Phillip Rivers, yeah, okay, you can start him. I don't know, check your waiver wire, see what's available, stream a quarterback. And then wide receivers, start Keenan Allen, of course.
That's all I'm starting unless it's a deeper league.
I agree. Steelers 49ers, I think I mentioned this before we started talking, but I would have been very excited to watch this game like week 1 or week 2 before Ben Roethlisberger got hurt, because the 49ers look good and the Steelers, right, you'd think they're supposed to be good, but I'm a little worried that this game might be kind of a dud. I kind of think the Niners are going to dominate again. Yeah,
I'm super excited about this as a 49er fan. Just because, I agree with you. Their defense has been amazing. I don't want to start any Steelers at all. So the 49ers defense has scored more touchdowns than they've had scored on them.
I'm going to interrupt you. James Conner, you probably have to start him because of where you drafted him.
Yeah, but if you have
and Juju,
you may have been able to get an Austin Eckler or someone like that may have been able to supplement that.
Sure.
So
if you did, right? If you have any of the guys that we've already mentioned that are obvious starts, start them. But you probably have to start Juju and James Conner, just considering where you drafted him.
Yeah, I'm looking for other people to start though. Like I said, the 49ers defense has been doing great. Their offense hasn't been amazing, especially in the passing realm, but they've been doing great. Their defense has been amazing, so I don't like that a brand new quarterback's coming in against them for his first start.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Rams Browns.
Oh, on the 49ers side, real quick, I'm okay with starting any of their running backs, Breda, Mozart, and that's about it.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I'm not starting a wide receiver from that team.
No, I did pick up Deebo Samuels in a couple leagues just to hold on to him, and maybe later in the season I'll play him.
Yeah. Rams Browns. Here, you and I talked. We're not starting Jared Goff this week. At home, I'm willing to like entertain the idea of starting Jared Goff right now, but they're away, and Jared Goff has been nothing but terrible this season, so I'm not starting Jared Goff.
Yeah.
I'm starting Todd Gurley. You probably have to start him, and you're probably gonna be fine.
I don't like Todd Gurley.
I know, but he hasn't given us a reason to not start him yet.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that reason, and I think it's coming. I'm with you on that. But if I'm giving other people advice, I'm going to tell them, yeah, you have to start him.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if you drafted him, then put him in.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
why did you
but
draft him? I told you not to.
Don't go out and get him. Do not trade for Todd Gurley right now. Wide receivers. We were talking before. I rank them Robert Woods as 1A, Cooper Kupp as 1B, and then I have Brandon Cooks as number 2.
And I have the first two just flip-flopped, which I like we were talking about. We both agree with that that's fine. Like I could see it either way. I'm not upset with someone seeing it differently than me. But obviously I see Kupp as higher. That's why I made the bet with Perry before the season starts.
Yeah. On the Brown side of the ball, I mean, Baker Mayfield, if you want to start him. Yeah, it's just, I mean, you drafted him so high that's why you don't draft him high, right?
Yeah, I don't want to start him. I want another option this week.
I want to bring up a comment that was left on our YouTube, our last episode regarding a trade that a player made for Baker Mayfield. First of all, I really appreciate leaving a comment. Do that more. We're happy to answer questions and that sort of thing. But you mentioned that you traded a couple players for Baker Mayfield, and now you have to fill a couple roster spots. And you mentioned a couple of their quarterbacks that were available. I would have just picked up one of those quarterbacks and never traded for Baker Mayfield. I don't know exactly which type of league you're in, right? Maybe you're in a 2-quarterback league or a super deep league or a dynasty or something like that. But whenever you're trading for a quarterback, you're probably losing that trade just because there's so much depth at quarterback. So keep that in mind if anybody ever offers you a trade for quarterback.
Yeah. The only real exception I see to that is Pat Mahomes. He's just been killing it. I even feel that way with Lamar Jackson.
Maybe even Dak Prescott a little bit.
Yeah. No, I feel like you're losing those trades even with those guys who are killing it. Because of the value still out there, and because they're still going to go up against those defenses that can shut them down. And Mahomes seems to be the only quarterback where that isn't the case.
Right. Yeah, I mean, with Baker, even if he starts to perform at the level that you expected him to when he was drafted, I still just don't see how it's worth it to trade for him. So you've already done it, right? That's fine. Trade's done. Yeah, I think you'll have a good quarterback going forward.
If you see a player you want, go out and get him. We're not telling you not to, and we'll still give you advice on how you could improve your team. So that's fine. Like we both replied on that one. I think actually with advice for you.
Yeah, thank you for the comment. Keep them coming, guys. As for the Browns, though, I think you could start Baker Mayfield if you wanted to. Like I said, you're definitely going to start Odell Beckham Jr. or Jarvis Landry if you have to, right, in a flex spot. But if you can avoid it, he isn't doing it yet. So I think he's a name right now more than anything else. And then for Nick Chubb, you're starting Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. Okay, and then let's move on to the last game of the week, which is a Monday night game, which is a real barn burner here. That's the Bears at the team in Washington, right? The Bears, I'm not starting Mitchell Trubisky. He's underperformed completely.
Yeah, start Montgomery, Allen Robinson.
Yeah, I think that list ends there.
End of statement for the entire game.
The team in Washington, do not start Adrian Peterson. He is my number one do not start of the week, if that's a thing. I'm making it a thing now because this is my podcast. Do not start Adrian Peterson against the Bears defense. You will not have a good time.
Okay, well, I'm going to jump in with the do not starts then. Do not start the Miami Dolphins.
Whoa. Whoa.
Bold take.
Man, that limb is not very thin.
But back to the only player I'm considering starting on Washington is McLovin. Like it's his name's just too close to not be called McLovin. But yeah, so I'm okay with starting him in a flex spot, maybe if you're shallow, need wide receiver help, or you just super shallow on wide receivers.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
And that covers the entire week. All right, I'm sure we went over our time again. I have no idea though.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Just
we
too
did
much
it.
fun.
Yeah, we can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Subscribe on YouTube. Comment on this video. Tell your friends to do it. Tell your friends about the show. We want more people to listen to us. We want more questions. We want to give more answers. Everybody have a wonderful weekend and enjoy football.
Woo.
Cool.